Hiya, I hope you're keeping well. With the salons being back open, I thought today I'd do a video about a few little tweaks you might want to make to your makeup if you've changed your hair colour. As always, everything I've used is listed in the description, so if you click to make the video full screen, the title will come up along the top. Click the arrow next to it and a full list of the products will drop down, but by all means feel free to use whatever you've already got in your makeup bag. Okay, I'm just going to start by clipping my hair out of the way. I think in particular when you've gone blonde, this is so fresh that you don't want to be putting too heavy colours near it because it will literally, like, you could get bronzer in that and all sorts. And I'm going to start with my foundation. Today I'm going to use Drew Barrymore's Light Illusion foundation. She has this brand Flower Beauty in Superdrug, and I bought a couple of things to try recently and they're absolutely lovely. Now I'm going to use a wet sponge to apply this today. I'm slowly coming round to the idea of sponges. They're not my favourite out of everything. However, one of the things I thought was great about this foundation is that it's quite a full coverage, and so I feel like using a damp sponge with it will kind of help to sheer it out a little bit. Now, just to mention as well, so basically I bought a load of stuff from Superdrug to kind of try some of the best high street bases. This one is absolutely lovely. I think it's £13 full price, and since I've bought this they've been on a 50% sale, so it's literally like £6.50. And you know, one of the things that I hope you will take from this page, I always want you to just kind of follow tips and techniques with what is already in your makeup bag, but at the same time I do like kind of sharing. If you wanted something on a high street budget, this is really lovely. Now, one thing I will say about this, I'll see how it wears today with the sponge because I haven't applied it like this before. But when see, that's where you'd miss your brush. Look at all the faffing about I'm having to do to get in there. I'll sort that in a moment with my hands. What was I going to say to you? I've lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I was going to say, this is really quite rich, and so I would say to you, if you're oily, this might not be for you. And I think that's always a really important thing to keep in mind. In particular, if you're watching a tutorial or something and thinking something is lovely, like the most ridiculous expensive mistake I made was getting a Dyson Airwrap, because I didn't really look into, is this good for smoothing out really, really tight curls? And there are lots of things it's good for, but I would not say it's good at that. But I was so excited watching everyone else's tutorials thinking it was going to be great, and I didn't actually think to look at someone's tutorial that has the same hair type as me. And so whenever I'm going to make a conscious effort to be more descriptive, I suppose, but whenever you're looking at someone's video and thinking you've seen something that you like, make sure you've thought to yourself, is this right for my skin type? Do I necessarily want a full coverage? Is this a really sheer coverage and I want something a bit more, full? There's loads of different things to consider. But anyway, this is my super luminous Light Illusion foundation. That one is the shade Warm Beige L4. Okay, I'm really happy with that. That feels nice and fresh and luminous. I'm just going to pat a tiny bit more onto these cheeks, just because I know that's where my redness is prone to flaring up. Now, one of the things I would say is that this is a lovely tip if you need coverage in one particular area but you don't want loads everywhere. And then, as I say, I'm going to powder this down because it really is quite rich. Okay, isn't it funny? Like, I love trying all the different things. Yesterday's foundation, I mean, listen, I'm not telling you go out and buy every single thing. It's just I'm in a lovely position that I have access to lots of different things, and so I like to show you lots of different things. Yesterday's foundation came in at £110. This one at present comes in at £6.50, and I'd be absolutely delighted to wear either of them. I think a lot of it as well is just like how you wear it, the right technique. I have to say, actually, I'm not a sponge person, and using that with the sponge, I prefer it than when I used it with a brush. Okay, the next thing I thought it'd be interesting to discuss is, in particular, if you're changing your hair colour, often that can, first of all, mean that you make a few tweaks to your makeup, but second of all, it can be a big shock. Like, even when you've said, hello, can I have it blonder or whatever, you haven't seen yourself like that in a while, and it can be quite different. Now, I love going to the hairdressers. I love sitting down, having a big chat with Mark, having a laugh. And so that to me is like a really relaxing day off kind of a thing. And lots of the time I used to go without any makeup on. And now I always try and make an effort to wear something because I just think it helps you to see your new look in your everyday situation, and it can be a bit of a shock when you haven't got as much on. So if I just show you, I live my life in tiny little clear bags. I've got them for everything. I put things in bags that I'm going to use in videos. I put things like this in my handbag. I took a few things to the hairdressers yesterday. I've taken them out, so I've taken the lids off. And I just thought I'd show you what I actually think it's really good to bring if you're having a change. So I bought a travel size of my CC cream. That's my personal everyday foundation that I feel the most comfortable in. I bought a nice vivid coral blush because I thought if I feel like I need a bit of colour in my cheeks, this can perk me up. And I bought a nice cream bronzer. And again, I thought if I was feeling washed out, that can help me to just put a few bits back in. And they're all really quick, press them in, super fresh things. So I'm going to show you a little bit of some of the things I would recommend. Now, it depends. Like, say, for example, the first thing I'm actually going to mention, I'm going in with some Brow Power Micro, by the way, while I say this. I really don't want you to take from this video that there are rules or you should be doing this or you need to do that. At the end of the day, you know how you feel the most comfortable in your makeup. And as long as you feel comfortable and fab, that is all that matters. Here are just a few suggestions of things that can make a difference. So for example, when I have a darker hair colour, I tend to go a little bit darker and stronger with my brows. I feel like it all works well together and softens out and looks really polished. When I've gone a bit blonder, I tend to go a bit softer with the brows. And the reason being, I think because blonde is so soft, it can make even the most subtle things that you were doing every day look a bit stronger. And so to really soften things out or brush them through like I'm doing here can make a really big difference. Can I just say, while I'm in this general area of my face, that is actually a tanning disaster. I'll put a little bit of the foundation there, but to be honest, I don't want to put too much product there because my hair's going to fall over it anyway, and I don't want it all going into my hair. But in case you're wondering, she's missed half her face. I have actually, yeah, but I don't want it in my fringe, so we're all aligned. It's just one of those bad fake tan days. Okay, now with blonde, I would usually put loads of bronzer around my hairline, but because it's so fresh and I don't want anything to look too heavy, rather than go for loads of bronzer, I'm going to add that colour back in using my blush instead. So this is the Nude Sticks Poppy Girl. It's a really, all the Nude Sticks creams have different finishes. Some of them are more velvety, some of them are more glossy. So I always like to go for something a bit glossier if I've gone for a softer hair colour, because what I want to achieve today is getting a bit of colour back into my face that doesn't look too strong. If you've made a big change, like, you know, you've gone from, rather than having a few more highlights like I've done, you've completely changed colour. It could be that switching from a coral to a pink or a pink to a bronze, whatever it might be, can really make a big difference. So I would say just have an experiment and have a play. Keep as much of your everyday routine the same as you can, like your mascara or your favourite powder or those kinds of things, and then tweak those little colours to see what might work best with what you're using. I'm going in now with some cream colour base in Hush from MAC, and again I've chosen this one because I think everyone's colour will be different for their complexion, but for my complexion this is ever so slightly peachier than my natural skin colour. And it just looks like naturally healthy, flushed skin as opposed to like a really artificial colour. So whatever your complexion looks like, I would say find something ever so slightly warmer than it to pull all of this together. I'm just going to powder. I'm going to take some Bye Bye Pores pressed powder, and I might actually take a smaller brush than that. A little small eyeshadow brush. This is a Morphe M505. I'm trying to think actually, because I haven't been doing my videos for a little minute. I don't know if I mentioned, but if you've got TikTok, one of my favourite people on TikTok is Michaela. She makes makeup videos every day. She's fantastic. She's really good as well for just like, she always experiments with things and, you know, shares different tips and tricks. But anyway, I had done a TikTok about how Bye Bye Pores powder from It Cosmetics, if you use this with a tiny little brush, because as the name would suggest, Bye Bye Pores, it's really good at blurring over texture. You get this really instantly like blurred finish over any texture in the skin. And she stitched my video and like tried the technique and loved it. And then ever since, loads of people have been sharing me these videos. It's been lovely. And like loads of them are from all over the world. They could be saying anything to me and I'm just literally going, thanks so much, leaving them all like a load of happy emojis. But basically, yeah, I would say to you, if you have prominent areas of texture that you just want to reduce, don't feel like you have to use that brush all over the face everywhere, because I want this to stay nice and radiant, but I've taken down the shine in the middle. Okay, mascara wise, I'm going to go in with the Victoria Beckham Future Lash Mascara. I think I might have mentioned this to you yesterday. Tubing mascara isn't the same as like a traditional mascara, because traditional mascaras will coat your lashes with pigment, but tubing mascara kind of wraps them in, it's called polymers. The best way I can describe it to you is if you ever messed about in art class at school with PVA glue and like got it on your hands and then peeled it off. That's what this is kind of like on your eyelashes. So it's really easy to remove with just warm water, but also it will not print. If you're finding things printing, try switching to a tubing mascara. Lots of brands do them. I have to admit, this Victoria Beckham one is one of my favourites I've ever used. But it's really good, this, for me, because I don't want anything printing on my eyelids because I'm still getting over that little patch of eczema, and this won't print. Okay, we're nearly done, and the last thing I want to go into a bit of detail on is your lips. If you go for a really soft lip, you're instantly softening the makeup. If you literally do something as small as adding in a lip liner, you can make the simplest makeup look really, really polished. I'm going to go somewhere in the middle today because I want to add that colour to my face, but I want it to feel nice and fresh with this hair. So I'm going to take something nice and warm to juxtapose the red. It's the same colour I used on my cheeks, and I'm just going to work this all over the lips. And now that I've seen that, I want to make this blusher pop a little bit more. And I think you can really see now, I feel like that has pulled everything together. My complexion looks really well lit. It's kind of brought out my eyes a little bit. And now when I let my hair down, it's a really soft, fresh makeup, but you've got these moments of colour to add that radiance back in where all of this is really sheer. So yeah, top things I would say are, keep in mind that once you've made a change, some of the colours that you're used to using all the time might feel a bit different. So have a little contingency plan, have a play with using a bit more colour, have a play with maybe knocking the colour out altogether and adding in a bit of bronze or whatever it might be. But I would say when you're getting used to a new colour, start really soft and then build up to whatever sits well with that. And just to mention, I know I said it earlier on, but any colour that you want to wear, there's no rules, there's no right or wrong, there's no I've dyed my hair brown, what looks good, I've dyed it red, what looks good. What you feel comfortable in is going to be the best thing. Just keep in mind that, like, for example, I purposefully wore a purple t-shirt today. This is one of my Laura Gravestock t-shirts. She's the lovely jeweller that made me a few of my little bits and pieces over the years. But I knew wearing a purple with blonde would make it look brighter, because purple and yellow naturally make each other look brighter. Does that make sense? It's not like there's a rule or anything, but I knew that would set the blonde off really well. So that's another idea. It might be worth kind of looking at a colour wheel and seeing which colours are likely to bring out and complement whatever you've gone for. But thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful. Let me know if there's anything in particular you want to see a video on and I'll get to it. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.